Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the avalanche of judicial nominees being put forward by the Biden administration in the United States. Well, it's not Biden; he doesn't even know what day it is. But the goons and the hacks and the flunkies surrounding him, and the people they're putting up as judicial nominees now. There seems to be, as far as I can tell, a real concerted attempt to get older judges to retire early, and their pensions are quite generous, to retire early so that they can put younger, politically correct nominees in their place. So they'll get the 62-year-old white guy to retire, and then they'll replace him with the proverbial black lesbian. And there's a concerted effort to subvert the system and overload the judicial appointments during this time with again these activist judicial nominees, and the quality of the candidate. I mean, talk about affirmative action. Some of these people, seriously, you wouldn't give them a job as a junior law clerk out in the fucking sticks. But I mean, it's embarrassing, really. It's beyond embarrassing. If I was looking for a lawyer and I was sitting in front of these people looking at it, they go, holy fuck, you're not getting the nickel of my money. So anyway, there is a concerted effort again to artificially bump up the number of affirmative action judicial appointments in the US, in my view at least. And Democrats, including people like Chuck Schumer, are openly bragging about it. How many affirmative action people are going to be sticking in the judiciary. So they're carefully selecting people that hate America, hate white people, hate white institutions, and think that everything has to be torn down and so on. So that they're very much focusing on those sort of people that they want to appoint in judicial positions. And if you look at the standard of reasoning that, say, even in the Supreme Court, the affirmative action appointments there, like Sotomayor and so on, even if you look at or Jackson, even if you look at those, again, you're looking at really, university first year universities, leftist debating club type standard of rationale and reasoning, in my view. And I think they look childlike, if not pathetic, in the way they view legal issues through this activist, placard waving, street goon type prism. So the idea that the Constitution is seen as something produced by evil fascist Nazis, Hitler, and therefore that they really, it should be trashed and taken out the back and just quietly euthanized, and let's do a bit of ideological activist justice and apply that. So now this is creeping into all sorts of aspects of Western jurisprudence. And again, lawyers I talk to openly say to their clients, look, don't come to court dressed in a suit. Do not come across as the responsible, efficient, upstanding, white, hardworking white boy citizen. Do not come across like that. Come across as a member of the downtrodden. You're a victim, and wear clothes that look like you've just bought them at the local opportunity shop or something like that. Do not come in. And if you're going to wear casual clothes, for fuck's sake, don't wear designer jeans and look like you've just been to the hairdresser. Wear a dusty old baseball hat and this sort of thing. So this to be a victim is now if you're going to get any sort of justice, you must come across as a victim and have as many victim points grafted onto you as you possibly can. So that is already an indication of the state of things. And there was a time when you'd go to court, and in earlier years when I've sort of been a witness, that sort of stuff, the lawyers would say, well, wear your best suit, shine your shoes until they gleam, and make sure you're clean shaven, you're an upstanding citizen who's there to take responsibility and and so on and so forth. No, that's not the case anymore. Anyway, I had a look at watching. I did a quick run through some of the judicial nominations in the United States. The nominees Biden's put up. And here's one. I mean, this is really the same story all over here. Here's a black female. She's purely been put up for affirmative action. She's quite simple. If the IQ is even 100, I'd be very surprised. She's only there because she's black, actually half black Hispanic in this case. And so she's got some sociology degree at some third-tier university out in the sticks. I mean, that was clearly affirmative action. They've obviously targeted her for poster child treatment. So she somehow magically made it as president of the Students' Association. And, again, the editor of the student magazine, classic poster child creation tactics. And so she gets a sociology degree. And then, again, of course, no one ever fails. And she's got the affirmative action. Then she goes off. Somehow she ends up doing some like legal clerking for an NGO. I don't know if that was paid or not. But it's a couple of years. Seems casual work. Looks like she wasn't really doing anything during that time. Then magically finds the resources to go to a better university to study law, and somehow she ends up coming out of there with a fucking PhD in law. This sub 100 IQ affirmative action woman gets a PhD in law. Yeah, right. And then gets given a clerkship in a rural district court, and then suddenly gets appointed as like a relieving judge on some court. But the relieving judge thing seems to go on for an unusually long time. And so I don't know what she's judging there. I mean, some sort of administrative law, I think, from the looks of it, but it's hard to say. But then listening to her answering questions, in the nomination process in front of the Senate or senator, a panel or committee of senators, and basic questions. She says, I don't know. No, can't bring that one to mind. No, don't know what you're talking about. She can't answer one fucking question. And these are basic things about law and the Constitution and this sort of thing. Things that I know, and I'm not even an American citizen. And it's years since I've had to, prepare and go to court with legal documents. So I'm hardly doing it day to day as she purports to be doing. Now, that's about the standard of the candidate. The candidates, or the nominees rather, were all black and brown and that sort of thing. A lot of gay lesbians and all that sort of stuff. So they're clearly being chosen for reasons other than their credentials in regard to jurisprudence. So anyway, these nominees there, and you're listening to somebody thinking, no, God, I'm listening to a child. This has got to be a first-year law student. It can't be someone who claims to have been. And some of these people have been, like one person claimed to have been 4 years as the district attorney, and they couldn't answer the most basic questions about legal practice and the very basic concepts of jurisprudence. They just looked vague. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. It just illustrates the depth of the affirmative action machine and just how far it goes. But I want you to consider and ponder, what are the implications for legal practice in the United States? And this is happening all across the Western world, by the way. We get to see a bit more of it because in the US, because of the Senate hearings, but it's happening all over. I'm aghast at some of the people that were, as a lawyer that I knew her, and I wouldn't piss on her to be a lawyer. I think she's fucking useless, and also really weird to boot, and very activist, feminist activist, and that sort of thing. And I was over having coffee one day with someone else I know who's a lawyer, and she turned up, and we were having she sort of joined the conversation again. I think she's an idiot, and she just calmly announces that she's received notification like the day before or whatever that she's going to be appointed as a judge to one of the senior district courts. And it took all the effort I could muster to prevent my jaw from hitting the ground and bouncing off it. And I thought, what, you're a fucking moron. But she's in with her, she's a leftist activist and about as close to communist as you can get in terms of social attitudes. She likes the money that now in this particular court, her pay is going to be something like 7 times the average wage, plus a lot of benefits, a lot of prestige too. And so she's going to be quite happy with that sort of money. Not that you can really get ahead at a rate of knots in Sydney anymore, and that sort of money. You need to be getting paid over $1 million a year and have that income for at least 10 to 12 years before you say it was life-changing. But anyway, she got that. So this is happening all across the Western world. People that know nothing about the law, they're just raging social justice activists are being appointed to legal positions, but because they get to wear the robes and sit up on the bench there, and because just with a stroke of the pen they can put you in prison, you kind of got to be careful and tiptoe around these people. And that's way too much power, in my view, way too much power to be giving to people that don't know a fuck about the law and don't care about it. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.